A few minutes to 8, you're still watching Morning at NTV with me, Sandra Twino Video. Now, you remember you can be part of the conversation happening here by using the hashtag Morning at NTV on Facebook, Morning at NTV also on Twitter, and send us your thoughts. Now, this conversation that we are having this morning is to do with legal matters. We have seen that apps for most of everything required from day-to-day life is now widely available. So in case you need an app to maybe listen to music or shop or get some food, chances are you find that app on your Google Play or Apple Store. Now these, you can say, they range from entertainment, banking, shopping to medical apps. Despite the availability of these different apps, the legal ones have not been very common. Not so many people know about them. And this morning we want to talk about an app called IMPARTIAL. We have people from there, and these are Mr. Martin Oneka, who's at my far left. A very good morning and welcome to Morning at NTV.
Good morning, Sandra. Thank you for having us.
We also have Mr. Mudali, who's here my immediate left. A very good morning and welcome to Morning at NTV. When we talk about IMPARTIAL, what does it mean? What inspired the name IMPARTIAL? I want to start with you, Mr. Martin Oneka.
IMPARTIAL World is a brainchild of a team of lawyers that we work with. We realized that very many Ugandans, very many people all over the world actually lack access to meaningful justice. So we realized through this technology that is now world over, and we know we're in the technological era right now, we figured out how we can use technology to improve access to justice, and that's how IMPARTIAL World came about. So we sat down and we realized we're going to have to need to develop this app that can enable users to be able to link users to lawyers directly, to be able to engage a lawyer, to be able to find the right lawyer to speak to. And so that's how IMPARTIAL World came into existence.
All right, so is this IMPARTIAL legal platform only available as an app, or does it have a web portal as well?
Oh yes, we're available as an app and a web portal. Yes. Our app is available on both the Google Play Store and the App Store. We also have a website called impartialworld.com. If you want to download, you can just go to your Google Play Store or your App Store and search for IMPARTIAL World.
Now that brings me to the next question that I believe any single person that intends to download any app thinks about, and I'll pass it over to you, Mr. Ricky. Is it free? Does it come at a cost?
At the moment, it's free because
there are plans to
there are plans
put a charge on it.
Yeah, to put a charge on it, because as creators of the app, we should also get a way of gaining so that we can be able to improve the app and provide access to justice. I think to add on to what he had said, when you asked him what is the brainchild, where does this come from? I think mainly our aim is access to justice, as has already stated. And you see, access to justice entails a lot of things, like not only the ability to go to court and be able to have your matter concluded, but also the ability to access a lawyer, so that a lawyer can help you with certain legal issues you may face. Because, you know, some people, mainly our major problem as a whole is the lack of knowledge, the lack of legal knowledge. You find there is a matter you have that can easily be sorted out with a letter or just small advice, but just because you lack the knowledge, you tend to let it go, and you tend to allow these matters go overboard. And then when now the problem is deeper, that's when you need a lawyer, and at this point you cannot be saved. So ignorance is one of the greatest issues, one of the greatest reasons why we came up with the app. So through the app, you're able to ask a lawyer, and then the lawyer is able to give you a quick solution to your problem, to avoid you entering into shady deals, to avoid you committing a crime. Because, you know, under the law, ignorance of the law is no defense. So you can't come and say, I killed him, but I didn't know that murder was an offense under the law. So we want to help sensitize the masses, and also help improve access to justice. That's why on the platform you can search for any lawyer you want, and you see his qualifications. From his qualifications you can tell, if I have a family issue, this should be the right lawyer for my family issue. Yeah.
So we know that lawyers specialized in, you can say, criminal and commercial issues, among others. This platform, what does it specialize in? Or if anyone needs any legal matters, can they access a lawyer from all fields? Are they all available?
Yeah, true. Because you see, in the app alone, we have several law firms and several lawyers. And there is a part where we put about. So in the about, the lawyer tells you his specialties. I'm good in corporate and commercial law, I'm good in criminal, I'm good in family matters, I'm good in intellectual property. So you can go to the app, search, look at the list of law firms, see their specialties, and choose. Because you see, you may have a problem in family matters, and you see his profile, it only has corporate and commercial, and it has criminal, you know he won't be able to help you. So you'll check another lawyer who has family. That's why we have the search option. Even through our search, you can search your problem, and then it's put there. But mostly you can ask a question. Now, I am the one who is in charge of referring questions. So I would look at the question, know that this is a family matter. I know the the family lawyers on the platform, and I forward it to the family lawyers on the platform.
Great. Now over to you, Martin. How do lawyers get on this platform? How do you enlist them? Because the chances of having a quack lawyer on the platform, how do you deal with that?
Thank you for that question. That's a very good question. Now, on our app, there are two options of signing in. You can sign in either as a client or as a lawyer. Now, if you're signing in as a lawyer, you are required to upload your practicing certificate. Now, a practicing certificate is given to lawyers to practice law, to be able to represent clients in courts of law. Now, if a lawyer doesn't have a practicing certificate, they cannot be listed on our app. That is one. Number two, every law firm that is listed, because we have a list of law firms, every law firm that is listed has to upload their certificate of approval of chambers. Without that certificate of approval of chambers, you cannot be listed on our law firm, on our app. So we are trying to also, in our effort to improve access to justice, we're also trying to rid people of quack lawyers. You understand? Because there are so many lawyers out there, people who pretend to be lawyers, and yet they're not lawyers. You know, they don't have the right documentation, but they have fake documentation. So they end up, cheating people, and people lose a lot of money out there. So you can just, it's a very simple sign-in app method. You just either sign in using your phone number or your email address. So that's basically it.
Someone in Gulu this morning may be asking, can I get this app if I'm in Gulu and actually have a lawyer that is close to me in Gulu? Do you have different lawyers stationed in different parts of the country, in the deeper villages, deeper districts of the country? Do you have those there?
Now, we for every lawyer that signs up, you put your location. So you can sign up as a lawyer and you're in Gulu. You can sign up as a lawyer and you're in Uganda. You can sign up as a lawyer and you're in Bara. Whichever region that you're in, you'll be pinned. Your location will be pinned. So if someone is in Gulu, you may be a lawyer and you're in Gulu, the town. They can be able to reach you. They can be able to give you a phone call, and you can be able to set up an appointment. Aside from that, like he said, you can have a one-on-one. If your legal issue or if your legal matter requires actual legal representation, you can be able to get in touch with a lawyer. You can be able to refer you to a lawyer, or that very lawyer can refer you to another lawyer who's close to you.
I'm just now curious, and I'll put it back to you, Mr. Ricky Mudali. When did it start, and how have people appreciated the app? How many clients would you say have come through to actually sign into that, to get the legal services, and how many lawyers are appreciating the app?
This was an idea that started around 2019. I think even further than 2019, but it was just an idea. So due to the pandemic, the COVID-19 pandemic, we saw how people were living in isolation. We were all in quarantine and we needed access to so many things. And part of the essentials are access to a lawyer, because advocates are very essential in our community. So that's when we decided to put this idea into paper and come up with an app. That was 2020, last year. So when we built the app, we started getting people on board, speaking to people on the street, reaching out to lawyers who are very willing to join the platform and joined the platform. I think right now we have about 1,000 plus users and about 200 to 300 advocates registered on the platform. We have received so many questions, and from the questions you could clearly see that some of these issues didn't even need court. Like most of these issues just needed someone to understand something. Let me give you an example of letters of administration. Many people lose out whenever their parents die, then their uncles come and take over property, claiming they got letters of administration. And many people think letters of administration shows ownership of property, but this is just granting you administration rights so that you can divide this property amongst the beneficiaries. But due to lack of this knowledge, very many people have been cheated. So you find a person telling you, my dad died last year without a will, my uncle took over the property, what can I do? And simply you tell him, why don't you apply for letters of administration? Or if your uncle applied for letters of administration, you can apply to court to either push him to fulfill his rights as an administrator or have his letters of administration revoked and given to someone who will cater for the best interests of your family. So you find that our biggest issue is mainly ignorance and the lack of knowledge. And that is what we are trying to deal with the most. Yeah.
Mr. Martin Oneka, when you look at different apps, different services that are provided, there are always people that are either happy with the services and there are also another category of people who are not happy with it. For a client like myself, if I get a lawyer on this app and I'm not happy with the services that they have provided, or they cheat me in a way, who do I report to? How do I address the issue? Have you put in place some mechanisms to deal with that?
Oh yes, we have put in place mechanisms. We have our contacts. We have someone responsible for dealing with issues that like you'd say, if you feel the service was not good or you feel cheated, you can reach out to the number is on our platform. You can reach out to that number. You can send an email, and there's a follow-up. And whoever it is that you feel has done something that's dubious, we follow up and we find a way of giving you redress.
All right. Now, just to quickly look at, just want to get the phone and look at and try to download this app. As we do that, I would like you to take us through how to access this information on the app.
The information?
Yes. When I download the app, for instance, because I would want us to give, I don't know, a representation or an easy way to show people how you get to your Apple Store, you download it, and what happens.
Sure. A demo of how you can.
Yes.
Okay, yes. So when you go to either your Google Play or your App Store, that's if you App Store if you're using an iPhone, you go to the App Store app, click on it, and search Impartial World. When you search Impartial World, it will appear. It has a yellow icon, and you click on it, and it will download. Once you've downloaded the app, you'll be prompted to sign in, and then you can sign in either using your phone number or your email address. Either way, you'll get a confirmation code that you.
So it's like the same way you would download Instagram or Twitter.
Exactly.
Okay,
so it's the same process.
Yeah.
So once you've downloaded it and you've completed the sign-in process, you go to the features, the home page. We have ask a question. If you feel like you want to ask a question, you can ask a question and you get a response promptly. We have features. We have another feature called Find a Lawyer. that one takes you to a map, and if there's a lawyer within your vicinity, you can be able to reach out to them. You just click on that lawyer, their profile will come up, the phone numbers, and you can be able to reach out to them. We have find a law firm. We have a listing of law firms with their bios, like my colleague told you, their
Yes.
bios, what they do, their location, the phone number, the email address. We also have an additional legal resources. By legal resources, we have short info videos about simple legal issues, and you know, that people that track many of us. And we also have blogs. Now these blogs inform you. These are stories that inform you about different matters. Has someone that you know been defiled? How can you go about it? We give you the steps of how you can, how we can help, and how you can help, because we also need you to help us
two-way
help you.
thing.
Yes. So we have those blogs, legal resources. We're also now working on podcasts, short podcasts, to inform, because what we want to do largely is, aside from being able to link disgruntled users to lawyers, to the right lawyers, we also want to inform. We want to give legal information. That's why we have these legal blogs. That's why we keep sharing information about how to go about with your legal matters. Access to legal information has not been really done well in Uganda. So that is one thing we want to improve on, because
Okay.
when you improve access to legal information, people know their rights, people know how to go about any legal matter, and you improve access to justice.
All right, so I've just downloaded this app myself, and I can see ask a question, find an advocate, find a law firm account, their blogs and videos like you mentioned. So it looks quite easy. The interface is precise. But now it brings me to the part, what is some of the commonly, frequently asked questions on this app, considering the moment you open the app, the first thing that you see, ask a question?
I think let me generalize them so that I cannot give you specific questions that are asked. But mainly, people ask questions in regards to land matters when they are trying to carry out sales, when there are people trespassing on their land. What would be their solution, or what can they do? Then there are family matters, divorce. A man is asking, he's tired of his wife. What can he do? Such things. And company incorporation, mainly, because very many people want to set up businesses, and they want to know what are the charges in company incorporation, or what are the requirements, what documents do I need, how long will it take, and what are the tax implications of having a company and all. So we tend to give such advice, so they keep asking. Those are mainly the questions. Contracts, not so much, but mainly family, land,
yes,
and company incorporation.
Now that brings me to yet another concern that this app raises. We use internet. We are working in an era where internet is quite expensive for all Ugandans. What are some of the plans that you have in place to see that everyone is included? Not forgetting there are those that do not own a smartphone. What are your plans for those?
Yes, thank you for that question. That has been a question that's been raised many times. So what we're trying to do now, and what the plans that we have in future is, we're going to start reaching out to people directly, holding legal bazaars, where we select, we map out a region, and we go to each region and ask. It could be, let's say, a village in Uganda, and we say, on a day like this, we're going to come, and then we talk to them. You have legal matters, we give you advice. On top of that, we want to implement a call center, a toll-free call center, where different languages will be represented. If you're speaking Luo, if you're speaking Uganda, if you're in Akitara, from the east, Ateso, to bring it down to the people, like you said, because the internet is expensive in Uganda. I think in East Africa, Uganda is one of the countries that has the most expensive internet. So those are the plans that we have moving forward
But even on this app alone, when I just opened it, it was in English. Do you have plans of sort of translating it to different languages?
Yes. That is being worked on. For now, we are starting with 4 languages, 4 main languages. We're starting with Luo, Luganda, Nakitara, and Ataso. And in the near future, we shall move on to other languages because we're going global. We're expanding. We want this to not only be here in Uganda, but we want to go outside East Africa, Africa, and globally as well. So we shall be having sections of different languages. If you log onto the sign into the app, or you go onto the web platform, there will be different languages listed. So if you choose your preferred language.
This is an app that has been in operation for 2 years, I would say.
Yeah.
2 or say 1 year, around there.
Yeah,
what are some of the biggest challenges that you've experienced with this app, and what are the mechanisms, strategies that you're putting in place to address them? Over to you, Mr. Ricky.
I think one of our biggest challenges is one you have just mentioned, language barrier. Because most people we are trying to reach sometimes don't understand English, and that's why we have come up with translators. We hired about 4 translators to help us translate some of the content we have on our platform to 4 different languages and all. And of course, another challenge we have is that many Ugandans are not tech savvy. They don't understand how to use technology. So that's why right now we have someone who does sales. He goes down to the indigenous people and he teaches them how to use the app, while also advising them to join the platform. He goes to businesses, he goes downtown, he talks to them, he explains to them the app and tries to show them how they can ask questions and all. And that's why we have allowed people to also ask questions in the different languages, because we have people in the back end who understand these different languages and can help translate it to the lawyer, or we can get you a lawyer who is good at that specific language, who can come, listen to you, and give you a solution also in Luo. So when you ask a question, you will find a response in Luo. Or when you ask a question in Luganda, you will find a response in Luganda. And yeah, I think those are the major challenges we have faced.
What about inclusion? You know, there are people that can't read, you know, they can't afford to type or write. There are people that can't see, you know. Are you considering these people? Are you having them at the back of your mind?
Yeah, we are. As Martin said, that's why we came up with a call center where you can just call. In case you can't read, you can't write, you don't understand the language, you just call and someone will attend to you. It will also be a lawyer who will attend to you. So we have a call number where you can call. We are also planning on coming up with USSD codes so that to help those who who don't have smartphones, where you can get a lawyer and then we help you. Because you see, as the the Justice of the Supreme Court of the United States said, that justice should be the same in substance and availability without regard to economic status. So we want to reach out to each and every one. That's why even when we put a charge on the app, it will be a small fee. It would be a very small
Actually, when I look at this app, you're providing Ugandans a platform where they can get quick legal services, but you're also giving the lawyers a chance to market their services.
True.
When just to get that clear, when a lawyer logs in and says, okay, I'm a lawyer, I want to provide these and that services, do they pay a fee, or it's still free for the lawyers as well?
At the moment it's still free.
At the moment it's free.
Yeah, but of course with time we shall ask them to pay subscription. Yeah.
This is a gap you're trying to fill. Trying to make it easy for Ugandans to access these services.
Yeah.
How can the government, for instance, support initiatives like yours?
Yep.
The best way to support your initiative?
Well, off the top of my head is reduce on the cost of the internet. That's number one. That's a big challenge. You mentioned, you talked about challenges. That's a very big challenge. Number two, they can help us, you know, with resources. You know, the resources that they could help us with, whether it's financial, whether it's advertising, whatever resources that they can help us with, or anyone who's doing this, anyone who's trying to improve access to justice and legal information, they can also ease, because it's very hard to see. There's no policies that help legal or the apps, people who are in tech right now. There's no serious policy that we're still trying to formalize it. Where we sit at the Innovations Village the other day, we had a webinar about that, because many startups struggle to come into business, because first of all, registering your startup, that whole process is very tedious. It takes a very long time.
And it's expensive.
And it's very expensive. And sometimes you're a startup and people want to give you money. There's donors. There's people who want to give you seed capital or whatever, but they need you to be very legitimate. And this is hurting very many people who are in the startup world. Very many people in Uganda complain about that. So if government could ease the process, we're not saying they should not control it entirely, but just ease it so that the whole process can be made easier for us.
Can be made easier. In the next 10 years, where do you see Impartial World, Mr. Ricky?
In the next 10 years, where I see Impartial World, if I was telling you, you wouldn't believe me. But yeah, I see it as a global platform. Like, I see us covering the world.